Hi, Sophia. Welcome to this interview.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah. And friends, here is Sophia, one of the EFT founding masters. And let me introduce more about her. Sophia is one of the EFT founding masters. She is a coach, she's a trainer of the trainers from EFT International. She's a Reiki master. She's an ordained minister with Universal Life Church, Light Master, and ordained minister with ESPOA organization. There's so many things. We'll know more about her from her directly. And once again, I welcome you, Sophia. It is no, I feel fortunate for getting this opportunity to interview you. And here comes my first question: like, how did you get into EFT, Sophia?
Well, actually, it was my own history, which was kind of filled with, well, a long list of traumas that had left me in a place where I didn't know what to do, where to go, even as far as work.
Yes.
So actually, it was my own history that took me into EFT. I found myself in a place where I didn't know what to do, where to go, and it was just a lifelong stream of traumas that found me in a miserable place. So I began to search for something to do, and I was going crazy with the internet and just not finding anything that felt right. And then a very dear friend of mine who knew I was doing the search sent me a link uh, one night, and he said, just see if you can find in here. And it was a page of just a ton of different modalities. And I was going through it and just still not finding anything. And then I stumbled across EFT. And when I saw it, I was taken back by it. And I decided that, it was because I wanted to do something helping other people, that was an answer for me.
Wow.
So I knew that the most important thing for me was to clear myself
Yes.
before I jumped in with everybody else. So I began to study and worked with it. I studied extensively with Gary Craig, and it was quite a journey.
Got it. And Sophia, what led you to specialize in trauma and abuse?
Well, the very things I was just telling you about,
Yes.
and it just felt like the thing to do because I knew that the pain,
Mhm.
and I knew that it was something that really needed to happen for other people.
Got it. Okay. So, what have you learned from working with the others in this area? I mean, like in this area, in the sense, trauma and abuse, Sophia.
Well, one of the things that I like to tell people is that if they can accept the idea that there's absolutely nothing wrong with them, that they are dealing with our bodies and mind reacting and responding
Mhm.
to what the things that we've witnessed and endured. And if we can begin to accept that concept, it becomes a whole different thing. it's much easier to try to relax into what we're doing and move forward. And I've learned that pain can be insurmountable, and it makes it difficult to reach out to other people. And so there's too many who don't reach out of fear and other, whatever their reasons are. But I would encourage them to reach out, because to me, it is when someone comes to me, it's that being able to hold the energy for them to be able to say whatever they choose to say to me without feeling guilt or shame or any of those things. Just to be completely relaxed and at ease. So when it's impossible for them to express it, there's always a way to get to the core issue without having to deal with all that pain that they went through the first time around. So with understanding, again, it's easier to work through things. But it's amazing how much we can get to without recanting the story. And it's so much easier when we take a gentle approach with those things.
And Sophia, I understand you have also developed a number of trauma-related courses. Will you please tell us about that?
Well, probably timeline healing is a good place to start.
Mm-hmm.
And timeline healing works with a spiral timeline.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm sorry, I have a phone ringing in the background. When we can go through that process, it's a very gentle process, and it takes you through the steps to connect with different points in the timeline, so that we can go into your history, or we can move forward to help you create what you're looking for. So the emotional body is what really kind of takes the center stage with that. And I should say too that it does blend very well with EFT. But it's the game of being human, and that unique blend of our true essence of spirit and the physical. And the physical is everything that we needed to support and grow our bodies. And as you work through it, that your true essence is who we really are. And the underlying point of perception that as humans is our inner knowing. So as the two dance together, there's an area in the middle that is a blend of both. And that is the emotional self. So the emotional self has a memory that's constantly trying to recreate memories. And without guidance, that the emotional self automatically guides us to the true essence, deal with unresolved issues. So most of the time, it encourages the human to deal with unresolved issues, yet putting them in your face. And so as we work through this, very few people realize that to consciously guide to their emotional selves. So when this happens, often over periods of time, the emotional self goes into a survival mode, covers up the problem, and resolves it. So with the help of the timeline, we can resolve those issues.
Wow, that's nice to know that, Sophia. And Sophia, you also wrote a book. So can you please tell about it to us?
Yes, the book is it's called, I'm sorry, it's called Going with the Flow, and it is a compilation of different cases that I've worked on.
Nice.
And each one I take you through the steps, step by step, from beginning to end. And it has, it includes tips, suggestions, information on how to work through each piece as you go through it. And, you know, it's available on my website in Spanish and in English.
Mm-hmm.
And I can ship it to anybody who needs it as a PDF file.
Amazing.
Do we have,
So, huh?
excuse me, is there, did we kind of skip over something here? I think we may have.
Uh, yeah, that's amazing work you have gifted through your book, Sophia. Like, people like me and many other practitioners who are looking for resources. So your book will be an amazing reference to go through, especially to work with trauma and other cases. And Sophia, do you have any suggestions for the EFT practitioners to develop their skills?
Well, I think that the best thing to do is practice, practice, practice.
Practice, practice, practice. Under the guidance of some, wonderful masters like you, and
It's, well, it is definitely practice. And what I've learned is that the more that I do, the more that I learn, because you never know what is going to be in front of you.
true.
And it is that, and trusting your intuition, because your intuition pays off big time.
Yes, true.
So, you know, there's no special thing that I can offer to anybody, except that experience is the big payoff. I can remember when I started my practice that I was very nervous about trying to work with certain things. And I shouldn't probably say nervous, but I made the mistake of asking the universe to please send me those who I could help the most.
Okay.
And what started happening was I had for one thing, was a young woman who had a terrible history with abuse. Her father was very well known, and it was so it put her in a very awkward situation. But every time she sat in the chair, she would begin to cry. And, you know, I was ready to throw the chair out
Oh,
because I decided it had to be the chair or not her. But, you know, I learned from things like that. And it was really a beautiful unfolding, just going through those things. You know, I had another woman who brought 2 young children to me that had, you know, well, she actually brought the first one to me. And so then when she felt he was doing better, she said, okay, now I'm bringing in the real bad one. When I was just about at wit's end. But it's the more you can relax into it and just be open to helping other people. That to me is really the most important part of it.
That was a wonderful suggestion, Sophia, because as you said, trust your intuitiveness and just practice, 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 keep practicing. Yes, yes,
You know, you're not going to get it right every time, but the more that you open up to your intuition, the more relaxed and at ease you're going to be. The idea of through me, not by me, as Gary Craig says, is very, very important. And you can do that and separate yourself from whoever you're working with, you're much better off, because you know you're into the flow with it at that point. So whatever comes at you, you're going to have an answer.
that's amazing advice, I can say. Thank you very much, Sophia. It's been very inspiring to know your journey, like where you yourself have gone through a lot of trauma, then you explored EFT, and then started teaching it. Then your experience with the timeline healing, with the book, and you're conducting various workshops, helping people to become better practitioners. It's very, very inspiring, Sophia.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sophia, you have also developed a modality called transformational trauma release. So, could you please share more about it and how EFT practitioners, by learning this, can get benefited?
There's a lot of benefits to it. In fact, I had one woman who took it when I was teaching in Europe, that said she got up at the end and she said, no one should be allowed to do EFT without taking this course.
Wow.
So I thought that was I was astounded. But let me just say that I won't be offering any live courses this year because of the COVID.
Yes.
And I'm in Florida, so we're really under the gun here. But it is, it takes the basics and blends it with the things that we really need to understand when we're working with trauma. And it takes us through understanding the layers of trauma. It helps us understand how the nervous system responds to trauma. And it also helps us with emotional, difficult emotional states that you can face. And it helps you understand what different states mean in an overall process when they interfere with progress. And it will show you how to work with people without re-traumatizing them.
Wow, that's amazing.
And it takes you through the application techniques and all the basic at the same time. And it's knowing how and when to use EFT with trauma. The other thing is it goes through the safety, enhancing the practitioner client aspects and learning the internal parts of what trauma is. The big thing that it is really important if you're going to work in this area is avoiding burnout. And whether you're doing trauma or something different, it's more than worthwhile to really get that.
That's amazing. So thank you very much, Sophia, once again for sharing and also developing these wonderful tools as a gift to this world. I'm sure many EFT practitioners and other people who are practicing other modalities also get benefited from these courses and through your book. And thanks a lot for contributing to the community of EFT.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure.